parliamentary institutions, the Lok Sabha, Shri Birla ji has accepted our invitation, and he will be the chief guest, and he will be formally inaugurating the Constitution Museum and the Rights and Freedoms Academy at O.P Jindal Global University on Saturday, the 23rd November at 10 a.m. We will also, and we are having the distinguished presence of the Honorable Chief Minister of Haryana, Mr. Saini, as well as the Honorable Minister for Law and Justice, Mr. Arjun Meghwal. All three of them will be present, along with the distinguished presence of our Chancellor and benefactor, Mr. Naveen Jindal, who is also a member of Lok Sabha from Kurukshetra constituency. We have a number of international experts along. As I said, that inauguration is also on the same day we are beginning the National Convention on the Constitution of India, where the first panel will have 5 Supreme Court judges, sitting judges of the Supreme Court, followed by several other panels with former Chief Justice of India, former Supreme Court judges, and other Supreme Court judges also in the course of the next 3 days, and lawyers, law academics, members of parliament, and others, public intellectuals who will be discussing and debating various aspects of the Constitution of India, including some people from the media as well. The detailed invitation, including the program, has been given to each one of you in your bag. Please feel free to look at it, and we will be very delighted to host you on our campus. And of course, these days, if you come, there is no registration, so you feel free to come and be part of the museum experience. Law Minister, Shri Meghwal, plus we also have our Honorable Chief Minister of Haryana, Mr. Saini as well, and along with our Chancellor, Mr. Naveen Jindal. Now, to begin with, surrounding the museum, we have established the Constitution Gardens. These gardens are beautiful landscape which has been created again, looking at ground cover and shrubs, which reflects the diversity of India. The pluralism of India is reflected in these gardens, and I'm going to skip those things, but you will come and see how it looks like. It's all done, presentation. So around the Constitution Gardens, we have developed a number of outdoor sculptures, each of which is reflecting a thematic aspect of the Constitution. This is called the We the People of India, the evolution of India from Stone Age to the Bronze Age. Rajesh, an artist, has done it, and it's beautifully installed in the museum. Then you have another one called Insaf Ki Devi, which is again made out of scrap metal. Nishant Kumbatil has done it. Then you have another one called Triad of Unity, reflecting the lion capital of Ashoka, but also connecting to the 3 principles of unity, justice, and sovereignty by Harsha Dugada. Then you have another one called Echoes of Liberty. These are all outdoor sculptures installed in the Constitution Gardens. Gautam Rahul has done it. Here you can trace the history of the Indian freedom movement, but also the culmination of the Constitution as well. Then you have another one made by Pradeep Jogdan, which is on the theme Equality Before Law. Then you have another one by Deval Verma, which is actually a map of India. Of course, also through scrap metal, reflecting frugality in the evolution of our own culture. Then you have an outdoor sculpture called Frame, which essentially is how the Constitution looks. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen one of the original copies of the Constitution. This is actually the cover page of one of the original copies of the Constitution. You can actually take a selfie here, take a photo right there. This is also installed in the museum. Now, as you look from the museum from outside, we are paying tribute to different forms of Indian art. Sorai, Gond art, Bill art, Tanjore painting, Kalamkari, Patachitra, Madhubani, and Pichwa. These different forms of Indian art are being paid tribute to, but by celebrating constitutional values in which we are recognizing liberty, justice, equality, democracy, unity, secularism, sovereignty, and fraternity. All these constitutional values are being celebrated through the various forms of Indian art. Now you actually come into the museum. The museum has 3 galleries. The ground floor is called the Constitution and Kaleidoscope. The mezzanine floor is called the Makers Gallery. And the first floor is called the Freedom's Journey. Let's go one by one. The ground floor is the main floor where you will see the entire evolution of the Constitution in terms of its original ideas that the Constitution has promoted. You begin by a beautiful artwork called Portal, which is made by Jaipur-based artist called Wolf. And this essentially is drawn from the preamble of the Constitution. This particular art form, if you see the original preamble, you will find this art form there, and that has been used to signify the entry into the museum itself. Then at the heart of it, we have one of the original copies of the Constitution. Some of you may remember that after the Constitution had been signed, there were 1,000 plus photolithographic copies were made, and we happen to have one, and that we have displayed at the heart and center and entry into the museum. A very distinguished artist by name Balai Gaja has made it. There is a pedestal in it, and we have placed the Constitution on the pedestal, again signifying the worthy presence of the Constitution. Now, right adjacent to this, we are paying tribute to the Mahatma. As some of you know, when the framers of the Constitution began discussing the Constitution in December 1946, Mahatma Gandhi was very much alive. He was not a member of the Constitutional Assembly. By the time the Constitution was adopted in November 1949, he had already died. But his contribution, his vision, his inspiration was a brooding omnipresence in the minds of the framers of the Constitution. Hence, we pay tribute to the Mahatma right as we enter into the museum. All right, then we look at the three fundamental principles that were part of the evolution of the Constitution: individual freedom, economic and social justice, and equality and inclusivity. These were part of the objectives resolution of the Constitutional Assembly, which later became the preamble of the Constitution itself. Right there, it's a double height building. So you will see a tapestry of ceiling sculpture where the several provision videos, quizzes, graphic pamphlets. Remember, I told you early on that we want to make the Constitution, and please come in, pick up. We have been able to produce those pamphlets to ensure that you have a sense of understanding of the 15 outstanding women members of the Constitutional Assembly. Now again, these individuals, many of them have been lost in the books of history. We are paying tribute to them. There is an extensive set of information about the Constitution. You can understand it. Then there's a section called quizzes and games. We have made the